I'm telling you guys, it's gonna be a broken record, but bowl season, you gotta take advantage of it. Take chances on bowl season. And yesterday, not one, but two games were outstanding. Two of the three games were outstanding, especially the last one, which we're gonna get started right now on college football time with Avery Miguel, and that is USC versus TCU. Avery, what a magnificent game. What a finish. um you going from breaking a tackle to almost stepping out of bounds and then going all the way. Overtime game on top of that. Even though I picked USC to win this game, but I cannot be mad to TCU for winning. What a epic game, Avery. And this just goes to throwing another punch to everybody that say, oh, both season, blah, 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 it's not the same. Shut up. Look what's happening. Go ahead, take it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm like, you picked USC, I picked TCU because they were playing in their backyard, and that kind of fueled them to not only have one of the best games of the day, but it was the evening bowl game. And not only that, absolutely, the Trojans and the Horned Frogs played great football. And I completely agree with you. Everybody can say, I'm like, oh, how do these teams, get to be a bowl? Teams get a bowl by winning 6 games. And we've said it, like you said, it is a broken record. But when you have college football fans, or even if you have just your regular football fan that wants some football, they get something when they're tuning into these bowl games. And USC and TCU pretty much put on a clinic of how there's no fight, like teams are gonna fight for something. And even if a lot of people saying that bowls don't matter, to USC and TCU, they matter because whoever was watching that game, whether it be family members, friends, fellow students, alumnus, even if it's just the casual football fan, you tuned in to see two great football teams give their all to showcase for their school. And for some of those young men who may want to go to the NFL, another great way to showcase what they can do. For these young men that say, you know what, I did the best I can do, I still want to stay at this school, I believe in this school, that's another reason. For others that say, hey, I think I've done all I could do here. I may want to try someplace else. And we have seen that after young men play their bowl game, they enter the transfer portal. If that's what happens, that's what happens. But until then, you're going to get some good football games. And the fact that people think that bowl games, they're not good or what have you. I'm like, what bowl games are you watching? Because the majority of the bowl games this season, I think this is the third overtime bowl game. So, I mean, I'm like, what bowl games are you watching? Seriously.
Jeremy Payne will never forget this moment for as long as he lives. This is, I mean, for you to have the game winner in a bowl game, listen, no matter where his life goes from here, that's a memory, a moment he'll never forget.
No one can take that from him.
As for USC, one of the best plays that I saw in this game was wide receiver Jaden Richardson, that one-handed catch for a 21-yard touchdown. And USC, they had chances, but hey, this is one of those games where both teams gave it what they have. They made right plays. USC, I know that it killed them for them to kick that field goal in overtime because they were trying to go for the win for the touchdown. And I'm pretty sure that they're, waking up today feeling like, man, we should have gone for the win because of 3 points is nothing, especially when it comes to overtime. But like I said, much credit to TCU. Um, they won the Valero Alamo Bowl. So this was a great game. This game met my expectations.
I agree completely. Because they're two team a lot of kind of the criticism with bowl games is especially when it's two teams that they don't fit on paper or two teams that maybe have not played each other in years. So it's like, well, what kind of bowl game is it going to be? A good one. Sometimes that's what you get. You get a good bowl game.
Moving on to the second best game of yesterday's game, the Liberty Mutual Music City Bowl, Tennessee versus Illinois. If you think that the USC loss was heartbreaking, this one is even more heartbreaking for Tennessee. Dotson could have been the hero with that 93-yard kickoff return with less than 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter to finally put the Volunteers on top, 28 to 27, even though they started 7-0 in the first quarter. And for the most part, Illinois had the lead, had the momentum. But anyone who watches sports and has watched, well, anyone who watches sports for a long time, you would think that, for, not always, but for the most part, you would think that that 95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown in that magnitude of a game, in that moment, that the momentum will shift to Tennessee side. But Illinois' offense, Avery, they just couldn't be stopped. This game mostly came down to the run game on both teams. Aguilar, credit to him, he did what he could. He
Oh
had
yeah,
a solid performance. Illinois' defense did show up. I remember especially at the beginning of the third quarter, but we got to give credit to, I would say, one of the heroes in this game, and that's kicker David Alano. He made 3 field goals in this game, especially the last one, to win it
absolutely.
for Illinois. And Illinois, Avery, they won their first back-to-back bowl game in program history. So credit to Illinois. Take it from
Oh, absolutely. We've said it before. We're having these kind of traditional known basketball schools. The football programs are making it. They're getting the light shine on them. And Illinois, this entire season, they have been a bit of a conundrum. And, we'll never forget when they got dropped for like 63 points early in the season. But I think that fueled them when that happened to kind of turn that around. Not only that, making it to a bowl game and the win is just, making a killing for the Big Ten this bowl season. But Tennessee, it just didn't work out for them. Again, another school that was kind of playing in their backyard at the Music City Bowl. They were playing in Memphis, I believe, or just outside of Memphis. But man, that was a great bowl game. And I've always said it. Your kickers always be on top of your kickers. Give them some love, give them some encouragement. Let them know, hey, you're not just one part of the team, you are an integral part of this team. And when it came time, he got it done. When it came time, he got it done. That was absolutely, again, the second best bowl game of that. That was the early afternoon or the late afternoon game that started at 5 o'clock. I mean, t Tennessee, great season. They really wanted to finish strong, but Illinois fighting Illini, no, no. They were like, no, we're ending the season on a high note. And if anything, this is kind of our playoff win. This is what we can do. And again, anyone who's on either of those teams, man, look out for Illinois next season. Look out for Illinois next season. If we think Indiana is doing fantastic this year, wait till next season. I bet you Illinois is going to cause some trouble next year.
Luca Meyer was the player of the game. He did it with his legs. He was aggressive. So congrats to him. Tennessee, even though this might not be important to some people, but I feel that any little thing in a big game matters. Tennessee did have a missed field goal with less than 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. So who knows how that would have been later on, because little things like that can hurt you later on in the game. So just wanted to mention that. And the last game of yesterday, the Independence Bowl, Louisiana Tech, we picked them to win this game. They won 23 to 14. 17 points in the fourth quarter, amazing. But one of the things that was so cringeworthy was that both teams combined for 17 penalties in a half in the first half, and that's the most penalties in any first half at a FBS game this season. 17. So
That
the
is
lose.
that is undisciplined football. Like I can understand if you're trying to figure out how another team's offense is gonna run, but I mean that is just undisciplined football. That should not happen. And when it comes to bowl games, especially if you're trying to solidify yourself to your fans or to anyone tuning in, if all they're seeing is, personal fouls, unnecessary roughness, penalties. You can get away with a false start or an offsides here or there, but literally what you saw in the first half was just some undisciplined football. And hopefully, even though Louisiana Tech won, they might want to look back on that and say, okay, what happened and how can we avoid it? Because what no team wants to be known for is being undisciplined. Because if that's the case, no one's respect you and no one's gonna give you the time of day.
All right, Avery, it's time for the moment that we've been waiting for. We have a lot of bowl games today. And even though it's 11:44 right now and the first one is at noon, but I'm gonna put this out right away as soon as we log off. So let's make quick um picks in this. So the first one, noon game at one of the stadiums that I need to check out to do my stadium series, and that is Raymond James Stadium, home of the Tampa Bay Bucks. Iowa versus Vanderbilt for the Relia Quest Bowl noon game. I'm going with Vandy on this one.
Oh, I think this could be a good game, especially with Iowa. Actually, a colleague of mine was talking about the head coach of Iowa yesterday, Kirk Ferentz, longest tenured head coach, got hired in '99. Still saying he is going to come back next season. I think he's contracted into 2029. He wants to keep making an impact. Vanderbilt, great this season. I mean, Diego Mendoza, I mean, what do you want to say about that young man? What do you want to say about that young man? He's part of kind of the resurgence of Vanderbilt in this season. Um, Playing in Raymond James, I'm like, this is neutral territory for both teams. Um, Vandy is favored. They're favored by two. I want this game to be close. I want this game to be close. I want this to be a good structured running game for both teams. But I'm going to go with the upset on this one. I'm going to go with Iowa, but I'm going to go Iowa 21, Vanderbilt 20, 17.
Next up, my second favorite team, Arizona State versus Duke. Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. And then we played at Sun Bowl Stadium in El Paso, Texas. The game will be at 2 p.m. on CBS. Duke, ACC champions, Arizona State, a team that was decimated with injuries and things just didn't go the way this year. But I'm gonna go with my Sun Devils on this one. They better make me happy today. So I'm going with the Sun Devils on this one.
You know what? I kind of figured you would. Arizona State, Duke, your second favorite team. Duke is my favorite team for college basketball, but I have been, following them. And if I may, pun intended, both teams finished great this season, winning both teams winning three of their last four games. But I'm gonna go with Duke on this one. They are actually favored by 3.5. So for this one, Duke, especially their ACC championship win over Virginia, I'm going with Duke on this one. But again, I hope it's going to be a close game. I think both teams definitely earned their bowl win and to showcase what they can do in college football. And in the future, there are going to be some teams that you kind of don't want to see on the schedule because they could cause some issues. But I'm going to go Duke on this one. Let's go Duke 30, Arizona State 24.
That should be a good game, and that's one of my favorite matchups of today. Another one that's potential to be good, the Cheez Citrus Bowl, Michigan versus Texas. They will be playing at Camping World Stadium, Orlando, Florida, 3 p.m. on ABC. Oof, this one's a tough one, a super tough one. But I'm gonna go with Texas on this one.
I agree with you. Even with everything that has happened with Michigan, Michigan now has a new head coach. It might give them some fuel for this bowl game. But Texas, I mean, their start wasn't really great. The middle of the season, trying to fight for whatever, positioning, whether it be a playoff or a SEC championship game, could come in their favor. They finished very strong. They finished very strong. I'm going to go with Texas on this one as well. Again, playing in my backyard, not far from me in Orlando. And I think Texas really wants this to remind not only their fans, but anyone that kind of just wants to brush them aside that they are still a powerhouse in college football. They are favored, actually near touchdown. So I'm going to go Texas on this one. I'm going to go Texas 27, Michigan 20.
This other one has potential to be a very good game. The Las Vegas Bowl, Nebraska versus Utah. Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. I was in Vegas back in 2021, but not the stadium. The game will be at 3:30 p.m. on ESPN. This one, I'm gonna be biased. I'm gonna go with Utah because I've always liked and respected that program. With or without Kyle Willingham, I'm going with Utah.
I agree with you. Nebraska has turned around their program in the past couple years. I think Utah is just going to like come out of the gate. They're going to have a high scoring offense. They want to keep the foot on the gas. I'm going to go with Utah as well. They're favored by 14. But I think Nebraska is just going to stay with it for a little bit. I also think it might be the higher scoring game of the afternoon before we get to the primetime game. So I'm going to go with Utah 35, Nebraska 28.
We have the big one of tonight: Miami versus Ohio State in the 2003 national title rematch. A lot of Hurricane fans are still salty to this day about the ending of that game, but this is a chance for them, to get even with the score. I'm looking forward to this matchup. I've always liked the title, Goodyear Combo Classic. I've always liked that title. It will be played at AT&T Stadium. That's a big deal in Arlington, Texas, 7:30 p.m. on ESPN. Jeremiah Smith, a guy who's a Miami native, he, talks some smack there. And Ruben Bain Jr. and then Miami defense, they have no problem screenshotting another comment that'll be directing their way. So, oh my goodness. As a Hurricane fan, I gotta have faith in my team. Sorry, gotta have faith in my team. I have family in Ohio, so I'm pretty sure to be rooting for Ohio State. But I feel that Miami should set the tone with the run game, see if they could do what Indiana did to Ohio, stay in that Big Ten title game, which they use the run game. And Ohio State, they're usually number one ranked in FBS in almost everything, but they're number fifth in terms of rushing yards when they're on defense. So I would say Miami tried to set the tone with the run game. Mark Fletcher Jr. was great with Texas against Texas A&M. Start with that, and if they see that Ohio State has an answer for them, then they can't get too comfortable with the run game. They have to. Carlson Beck needs to be ready. He has to be ready for this game, when you play against Ohio State, you got to be almost close to perfection. All right. So, but I think that this will be a low scoring game. I don't know. I just feel it. I'll say Miami 19 or 17.
You know what? I think it's going to be a low scoring game too. The over under is 40 and a half, but I think it might be a little lower than that. Miami put on pretty much a defensive clinic versus Texas A&M, and I think they need to continue that defensive superiority versus the Buckeyes. Ohio State, their defense, stellar. So I also believe this is going to be a low scoring game, but I agree with you definitely on one point. Carson Beck needs to be absolutely perfect. He cannot make any mistakes, or if he does, they need to be dropped passes or passes that just go out of bounds where a opposing cornerback cannot get them. But I think this game could definitely come down to both teams' defense, and it's probably going to be a defensive play that turns the tide and possibly wins the game for either team. Now, I I've said I've said I think Miami can do it. I think Miami can do the funniest thing here. I think they can, but I'm not sure if they have the momentum that Ohio State's gonna take it away from them. But I agree with you on that low scoring affair and it being very close. So I'm gonna go different on this. I am going Ohio State, but I'm going Ohio State in the fact that it's gonna be like that Indiana game. It's gonna be a low scoring game. It's not gonna make the over under. So I'm going to go Ohio State 17, Miami 10.
All right, Avery, we're 5 minutes left to go, so and we got three more games to talk about, which will be tomorrow. So the Capital One Orange Bowl, Oregon versus Texas Tech, Hard Rock Stadium, Miami, noon game, ESPN. I'm going with Texas Tech on this one. I love this is a complete team. Oregon is good too, but Texas Tech, I feel like they're gonna bring it, and I feel they will win this game.
Actually, I'm going to agree with you. I think Oregon's game versus James Madison showed a lot of cracks in their armor, and Texas Tech has just been on a roll. That Big 12 championship game, um, the camaraderie that that team is bringing, definitely Texas Tech. Even though Oregon is favored, I'm going Texas Tech on this one. And what a way to ring in the new year with three playoff games.
And this one is very special to me. The Rose Bowl game, Pasadena, California. Such a prestigious event. Um, Alabama, your team, versus Indiana, 4 p.m. meet. Oh, this one is so tough for you. Yeah, I was wrestling with this because I don't know. Because again, it's only one game. One game. This is not a series, it's just one game. But I had to pick something. I can't plead the fifth. So I'm gonna go in a very tight game with Indiana on this one.
Yeah, Alabama and Indiana play a tight game like Miami and Ohio State might play a tight game. The fact that they're playing at the Rose Bowl, the fact that this is a playoff game at the Rose Bowl, I think both teams should just be proud of themselves that they are playing at the Rose Bowl, knowing the history behind it. So I agree with you. Indiana's probably going to be tough. I think their weakness could be the fact that they have a long gap between their Big Ten championship game and when they're playing this. I think this could hinder the bye of being a top four seed. I am, of course, going to go with Alabama on this one, and I think they're just going to close the entire game. So I'm going to go with Alabama on this one as well.
Last but not least, the Sugar Bowl, 8 p.m., Caesar Superdome in New Orleans. Ole Miss versus Georgia. I call this the revenge game for Ole Miss. So I'm going with Ole Miss on this one. I can feel it. I don't know why, but I feel that Ole Miss still has that bitter taste in their mouth from that only loss that they had this season, which they had them, but Kirby Smart and Georgia and their defense, they stepped up in the second half as well as their offense. But I'm gonna go with Ole Miss on this one. I don't know why. I just feel that everything that has happened this season with them, alongside with their distractions, I just feel that this win over Georgia will have them on the top of the headlines talking.
Well, I agree with you. And again, not only bitter taste in their mouth for Ole Miss, but yet they keep coming back to some place in Louisiana or they're facing a team from Louisiana. It's almost like it's staring them in the face that their former coach left for LSU. They're mad about it. And here's one thing. If you're about something, sometimes you have to channel that into something else. And knowing that the only blemish for Ole Miss this season is Georgia. I'm going with you on this one too. Because again, Ole Miss can do the funniest thing here. Not only can they beat Georgia, they could beat Georgia badly. Because, like I said, when you have a good amount of time off, that could actually hinder. I'm going with Ole Miss on this one too, but I think this could be at least a 10-point win for Ole Miss. I think they want to take out Georgia. They want to say that, hey, not only did we belong in the playoff, but we want to be one of the four teams standing to get to the national championship. And anyone that says otherwise, all you got to do is play us. So yeah, I agree with you. I'm going with Ole Miss on this one as well.
Well, guys, that does it for today's college football time. Remy Miguel. Guys, enjoy today's game on New Year's Eve. Enjoy tomorrow's game. Today, tomorrow. Well, these next 3 days is gonna be full schedule of college football. So enjoy it. Be safe. Stay warm. It's very cold out there. Stay warm wherever you are. And may God bless each and every one of you. Enjoy these days with your loved ones and you know, stay focused and anything that you're doing, stay focused. And like we always say, continue, continue, continue to support bowl season.
Happy New Year, everyone. Be safe and enjoy these next 2 days of college football. I can't wait.